On Sunday the 25th of July, the Radio West Fife Roadshow paid a visit to CULROSS Green for the annual CULROSS and Toryburn Church Fete. My name's Heather Logan and I'd like to share the day with you. With so much going on, it's difficult to know where to start, but MSP Jim Towson was at the event and had this to say to Matthew Hanson.
We're having a fabulous day down here at CULROSS, and hopefully when people get out of the hospital they'll come down and have a look around CULROSS when it's not quite so busy.
There's a lot of local businesses around here, and it's really good to see that there's loads of local produce being on show and getting sold.
It's not just local, it's high quality, and I think that's what's important about it. The ice cream that's made down here in CULROSS and lots of other products, the hog roast and so on, fabulous. And to have it all al fresco makes a nice change on a nice summer's day right by the Forth. It couldn't be better.
And I'll tell you, trying one of those these beef burgers up at that's produced in Aberdeen, top notch. I recommend you to try one of them.
That's great. Well, I'll try and do that if I possibly can, but there's plenty of produce. And what's also important here too, it's not just about selling products, but lots of group, including the local church and so on, fundraising, and I'm happy to help them with that. And it's great to see Radio West Fife along here too.
Obviously, you're the MSP here, and it's great to see that the community are out and about doing this fantastic event and just trying to raise as much money as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a great pleasure. Part of my job is coming around all the villages and parts of Dunfermline where local groups are showing what they're doing. Local communities are getting together and working on behalf of the community, and there are dozens and dozens of examples, and CULROSS is no exception here. It's fabulous to see everybody working hard today. The weather's great, people are having fun, and it's not just people from CULROSS, it's people from outside Fife getting to understand what CULROSS has to offer, what Fife has to offer, and it's great to see that, and it's great for me to come along and encourage it.
MSP Jim Towson, who paid tribute to the many voluntary organisations operating in Fife. One of these invaluable organisations is the Fife Society for the Blind, who are based in Kirkcaldy. John Clark caught with Alan from the group, who explained why they were at the event.
We're here to try and raise money for the Fife Society for the Blind, which all the money we make stays in Fife. And we dress up and look silly and we attract more people, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the weather, and the weather said it's supposed to clear up a wee bit and sunny, so God willing. Where you are, you're right beside the Radio West 5 tent. What else can you tell me about your stall and that?
Most of the stuff we'll have on the stall, we'll have a tombola for the kiddies with furry toys. We'll have a big box of chocolates you could win if you do the treasure hunt. And then on the stall there's lots of little toys you could buy for the kids, and they're only like 35 pence, 25 pence, 50 pence. And it's mostly generated for Fife, but it's all to attract the kids and the family idea for the stall. And we also do the French bulls, break an egg, and one at the kids for the prizes for the kids, not kids for the prizes.
Well, we wish we could give our kids for the prizes. So we have to go back on the next song. Thanks for having this wee brief interview, and we'll possibly come back later on to do some of your stall for you.
It's our pleasure. Hope we'll see lots of people turning up, and hopefully we'll all make lots of money for a good fete, hopefully with nice weather, and that's fact.
Not only was the green chock-a-block with stalls and activities, but a nearby business was gearing up for a busy day. David Fortune found out more.
We're down in CULROSS just now at the church fete. We've just saw an old camera perched outside a building, so we've come into the building. It's Colin Holmes Gallery. I'm standing speaking with Colin just now. Good afternoon, Colin. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Some of your work, absolutely fascinating. Brilliant. I know the name Colin Holmes. I take it you're very well known locally.
Reasonably well locally, yes. I've done a few exhibitions sort of in Edinburgh and sort of surrounding areas over the years, and I've had this little gallery in CULROSS for about 4.5 years now, so it's beginning to get better known.
What type of things do you look for when you're out and about taking photographs?
Well, as you can see, all the photographs are black and white, so I use sort of traditional film cameras, some, sort of in excess of 100 years old. So I do a lot of early morning and late evening photography, so look for atmosphere and maybe a little mist and fog, and a lot of the techniques that I use are very long exposures, so it helps create a sort of bit of a mystical, sort of slightly surreal look to the photograph.
Do you travel far and wide to find your material?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I when I first started, I concentrated on Scotland, obviously, because it's such a fantastic landscape and it's right on your doorstep. And I still travel around Scotland quite extensively, especially in the winter months. But I've also been to Europe, various European cities, and America and Australia and places like that. So I'm starting to spread my wings a little bit more, I must admit. Just when funds allow, I like to travel.
You have quite a display of old cameras in here. Are these actually functioning, and do you use them?
Absolutely, most of them. There's one or two that are sort of past use, but the vast majority of them I do use on a regular basis. The film formats for most of them are starting to become, well, not obsolete, but very difficult to get. You really have to sort of search the net, and you can still get the film for them. So like the big one that you saw outside, that's an 11 by 14 inch sheet film, so very expensive. So you use it, very carefully, and make sure that it's definitely something you want to take a picture of before you press the shutter.
Can you tell me where you managed to get hold of all these older cameras?
The majority of them, I have contacts in America. Most of them have come from the States. So eBay's a good source to find unusual cameras. Although you'd have to be very careful what you're buying on eBay, as with most things. But I have one or two dealer friends that I know that have extensive collections of old cameras, and I'll go on their website from time to time when I've got a bit of spare cash and see if there's anything that catches my eye.
What's the name of this street, actually?
The village is obviously CULROSS. The street is Sandhaven. It's right in the heart of the village, and I'm in the townhouse in CULROSS, which is the building with the clock tower, the main sort of central feature of the village, really.
How long have you been actually in this studio?
4.5 years now.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to Radio West Fife this afternoon. If people want to find out more about your work, is there anywhere they can visit online, or do you have a telephone number?
Yeah, I have a website. It's www.colinhomes.com, and the surname is spelt without the L, so it's COLINHOMES.com.
Radio West Fife.